Hi, I'm Jane and I love food and I love cooking, but I especially love sharing the kitchen with my son Eddie, who is a head chef. I'm so proud of him. And we've been doing some amazing food thanks to Food Secrets. Food Secrets is a program run by the Norwood Payneham St Peters Council, and it's all about supporting local suppliers and producers. And we have so many of them, dozens and dozens of them through the council area. So we have been shopping locally and we've got some great stuff. We're going to do a fairly simple dish, Eddie, aren't we?
Yeah, it's a really simple dish, but it's sort of just what we're trying to achieve with that family style eating. Some of them make it look like you've done a lot, but you've actually gotten away with not doing a whole bunch.
I love that. So these oysters are from Coffin Bay, one of my favourite places in South Australia. I just love our oysters that we produce here, grown in pristine waters. And I get my oysters from Seafood on the Parade. I get all my seafood from them. They really look after me and they can tell me where it's come from and how fresh it is. And I can actually pre-order if I want to, if I'm making a special dish. So once again, supporting a local supplier here in this area.
And then we've got our fresh produce from the guys at Four Seasons Fresh.
Like the herbs and the lemons and the shallots have come from there, all the stuff that we're using from Four Seasons.
So what we've done ahead of time is we've pickled some dried yellow mustard seeds. Really simply, we've just boiled some white balsamic vinegar and then poured it over, allow them to cool for a couple of hours, and they're ready to go. So they'll plump up a bit and they'll add a nice acidity to it. So we're making a vinaigrette with that. That's some really, really finely minced shallot, a little bit of lemon juice, some of this gin.
The secret ingredient is this lovely flagship gin. It's a local South Australian gin, and the supplier lives and works in the Norwood area, so we're supporting her.
Also some of the really beautiful Rio Vista olive oil.
Love that from the Adelaide Hills.
So we've got all these really fabulous ingredients, Mum. What we're gonna make is a play on a traditional mignonette, which is like a French style dressing. Traditionally just shallots and black pepper, but we're making a gin mignonette. So we're gonna add some mustard to it as well, along with the gin.
And that will go on the oysters.
So we'll individually dress each oyster with the vinaigrette and just serve them natural.
Now you've shown me this before, but I think I need to see it again.
That's all right.
The trick to cut it really finely
is to get to, I like to call them petals. Take the petals off your shallot, and then that kind of gives you a nice sturdy base to cut your really fine dice. So you whack it in half like you would an onion, and then you want to peel out the center just like that. And it's just going to help us, get a much better handle on it, as opposed to trying to handle a big round lump in the middle of the board. So keeping your fingers tucked like that. And then again, we're keeping the tip of the knife on the board, knuckles on the edge of the knife, and we're just slicing through really, really fine. And what plays a big part in keeping them nice and fine is a sharp knife. And also see how I'm sort of slicing as opposed to just chopping.
Yep.
So I'm not crushing the shallot.
We're going to have the mustard seeds as well, but it's going to give a little bit of a crunch to this beautiful dressing for these Coffin Bay oysters. I've actually been to Coffin Bay. I've actually been out hunting for oysters. I don't think that's really what you call it. The flavour of the oyster when it first comes out from the sea and it still has that salty water around it, it's just amazing. And we're so lucky here in South Australia that we produce our own oysters, either from Streaky Bay or Coffin Bay. They're the main places that we get them. One thing I like is they're really low on calories, but they're high on things like zinc and lots of really good vitamins and minerals that are really, really good for you.
So we've got our shallot ready.
Look how fine that is. That's amazing.
And you can sort of see, have you ever noticed when you're cutting an onion and it goes really, really wet and you've got onion juice all over your board? That's because your knife's quite blunt. So see how this is sort of very dry?
Yeah, it almost looks like salt.
Yeah.
Like salt granules.
So that's going into our bowl. So we've got about 2 tablespoons of our pickled mustard seeds in there going in with our shallot. And I've just boiled some white balsamic vinegar and then literally poured it over the dried mustard seeds and let it sit until it's cooled and they've absorbed it.
And the mustard seeds came from Norwood Foodland. We did a lot of our grocery shopping at Norwood Foodland, and then a lot of the other ingredients came from Glenburn Gourmet, which is on Glenburn Road.
So I'll get you, Mum, to zest half of that into this bowl.
And you taught me how to do that.
No. Top to bottom of the lemon.
Oh, okay.
Or bottom to top, like that.
Yeah.
Making sure you're getting all of it and keeping track of where you're going so you're not actually zesting pith into it.
So clever, isn't he?
That's plenty. Done with that. So we're going to add...
This is the fun part.
Let's say 4 tablespoons of that.
So you wouldn't give this to the grandchildren?
No, but you could make this dressing without the gin and it's then grandchild friendly. So I might actually add a bit more of this vinegar in there. So we want about a 3-to-1 ratio. So that's 1 part acid and then we'll do 3 parts oil. And this oil from Rio Vista is a really lovely finishing oil. They've got a few in their range. It's got a bit more of a robust grassy flavour to it.
The olives that we get here in South Australia are really old trees, amongst the oldest in the world, because when the first settlers came, they brought the olive trees with them, and that DNA of those trees is still there. It's something that's much sought after. So we have a very distinctive flavour with our olives.
So I've just had a little taste there, Mum. We need a bit more acid in there. So we've got a little bit of spice and a little bit of acid coming from the mustard seeds. And then we've sort of got the freshness and again, spiciness from the shallot. But I just want to have a bit more citrus freshness in there.
How about that colour? Isn't that colour fantastic?
So this is a little hack that we use at the restaurant as well. At the restaurant we use rock salt underneath all the oysters, but obviously you don't want to have kilos of rock salt hanging around. So a little hack is just regular table salt and just a little dash of water. And we just kind of make like a little paste, and that's going to be a little mound to stabilize each oyster. So almost think of you making like mortar if you're doing bricklaying. If you were serving them just natural, it wouldn't be such an issue, but because we're dressing each oyster, we don't want them to tip around the place. So we'll just go a little mound like that. So I've done 10 here. That should leave 2 spare for us to taste test.
Oh, good. I like that.
So then we'll just go around and arrange them nicely. You go to these little extra steps just to elevate it, and it really makes it that extra bit nice.
And they're not going to move around at all. They're quite stable there. Can you leave the 2 biggest ones for us?
Yes. So in cooking, a little bit of engineering goes a long way. And now all we need to do is spoon on our vinaigrette. So again, we don't want to go crazy because we'll overpower the oyster. So we're just looking,
which are quite delicate.
So we're just looking for a touch on every oyster, just like that. And even just that color on top.
Just lifts it.
Yeah. While I'm doing this, Mum, you can grab that dill and just put some nice little plooshes on top. Just 1 on each oyster.
Oh, wow.
There you go, Mama.
Okay.
Cheers.
So here we go. Oysters a la vinaigrette.
Oysters with gin and mustard vinaigrette.
That is so good. What a masterpiece. So give it a try. Do it a little bit different. Just don't have a dozen oysters on the plate with a slice of lemon like we usually do. Just take them to the next level. And it wasn't that hard to do. We kind of
Very straightforward.
did that pretty quickly. And we talked a lot as well.
We did.
That's what's great about cooking with a friend or family member, is having the chats and talking to each other. Thanks for joining us on Food Secrets, and it's all thanks to the Norwood Paine of St Peters Council. Go shopping to the suppliers and producers in this wonderful part of South Australia.